Yo, yo, yo. Can you guys hear me and see my screen? Just give me some yeses in the chat and we'll get started in a few minutes. What's up, Eduardo, Sergio, Buster? Can you guys hear me? See the screen? Screen is good? Sound? Audio is good? Great, great, great. What's up, Niels? We'll just wait for a few more guys. Can I just get some ones in the chat just so I know how many of you guys are in here? It says 19 so far. Can we confirm that? Thanks all of you. I take it most of you guys are Statmap subscribers. If not, let's see how we can get a is there anything that we can use for text? Custom text display. Discount code. Setting. Not yet. You want to see it in action? Yeah, sure. Sure. Right, so I've put the discount code in the bottom right for any of you that are looking to buy it. I think that gets you 20% off. Maybe I should write that there. 20% off discount code. Right. No problem. Okay, 31 viewers and it is 9:01. Let's get the ball rolling. Whoever joins. This will be recorded and available automatically on YouTube, right? Straight after this, it should automatically be available on YouTube. And this is my first YouTube stream for the year. I just got back to full swing of things from Monday. I had a month holiday around mid-December to mid-Jan. So trying to find my feature, get things going again. Yeah, and what I decided was just to let you guys know what levels. Yo, what's up, 2 degrees? What's up? Just to let you guys know how I personally use Statmap. Most of you would have watched the first Statmap live that I did. Has the same heading or same title. This is I've just labeled this part 2, and Statmap has gained a lot of traction. I think at the moment it's one of the best tools out there, legit tools out there for traders. So most of you will know this comes with the open, high, low, close Statmap. And what this is is a static stat map level based on any time frame you ask it to. Could be any one on these drop down menu that you ask it to give you stats on, and it will spit those stats out based on the obviously on the TradingView account that you have. If you have premium, you'll get more data going into the past. And I honestly mainly use the session stat map more, and I only really use the 1 day or the daily stat map on the open, high, low, close. And yeah, that's the only session that I use, right? You would notice that they've added in liquidity and liquidity raids after our first video where we spoke about manipulation and distribution levels being paired with liquidity to the left, right? So in trading, like anything else, we're always looking for liquidity to the left, right? Everything we see on a chart is always going to reference something to the left. We can't look at anything to the right because that's reading the future. So everything or anything that we do will always be to the left. So when we put up the open, high, low, close stat map like we have here, let's get rid of this and this. The levels now do not change across any time frame. So if I was in a 5 minute, 1 minute, 15, H1, all of these levels would now be the same. Whereas in the past, or the first video that we did, those levels would differ or change slightly, and that feature is only available on the open, high, low, close stat map. So basically, what are we looking for? We're looking for, most of you guys know that anything above the open is premium at the manipulation level and extreme premium up here at the daily distribution level, and discount level below the open and extreme discount at the daily distribution level. And this is all well and good. I mean, people can trade purely based off the open, high, low, close stat map. If you wanted, and I occasionally do, you could add on the weekly just to get a feel of where the weekly is most likely headed towards, right? So you can pop up a weekly, let's just make sure that's properly there. Yeah, chart of the week. You can pop on a weekly stat map, and then what that would give you is the weekly open, which happened right here. You can see where we tagged today, went below it, came back, tagged it again, was the weekly manipulation level, and we are now trading towards the weekly open. And I'm going to share some information about all of these levels soon, and how you can use StatMap, whether it's a session StatMap or the open, high, low, close StatMap more efficiently. So if I was then bullish this week, I would expect the open to run down to a manipulation level. You can see it's tagged it, and I've run a 2 degrees live on the entry models. There's far too many entry models you can use around the stat map. Most would be personal to each of you. I run a few different models myself. But all it entails is we have the levels in mind, and you can see here how the weekly distribution level is coinciding with liquidity levels above and below in blue. And when they get rated, obviously you can choose to change the color of that. So if we were bullish on a particular week, we would look for price to move down to a weekly manipulation level, and then high it back to the open, back to the weekly plus minus manipulation level, or if we were super bullish, the distribution level up there. And what I mentioned in the previous stream as well is that there is something that occurs which I like to call delayed delivery, or generally called delayed delivery. And if you have these levels up on a chart, even if they don't get hit, either a daily level not getting hit immediately or the same day, you'd notice that on a following day, that maybe we tag a daily manipulation or a daily distribution level, and that is why it's known or called a delayed delivery, right? So my personal favorites would be daily open, high, low, close, because you can get a feel for where the day is most likely headed, right? If I was bearish today, I'd look for shorts at the manipulation level, which you can see here, and I would trade it back down to the open, the daily manipulation level. But more importantly, if I was bearish, it would be the distribution level below the open. Make sense? Everyone following so far? All simple stat map stuff. There is a delay in the stream, so I'll just wait for you guys to confirm everything's okay, everything's good to go, everything's in order. Niels, you can't, no one can really see a bias for the day, right? We all have a better idea of where the day is likely to head to, depending on our bias, based on these levels. So from the open to the manipulation to the distribution, above or below the opening price. These are levels that price is more likely to trade to. A daily bias, I think T-Trades may have covered this as well. I call it a algo draw bias, where when candles fail to close below lows to the left, doesn't matter what time frame, you can use this on the daily. When candles fail to close below highs or lows to the left, the lows then become, or the highs then become draws on liquidity. So take any day that failed to close below any low to the left, either this low or this low, the algo draw that I call would draw to the candle's high, which failed to close below these lows. So if this particular daily candle right here failed to close below these two lows, I know that they would most likely want to draw to that candle's high, and that happens over here. It is also, let me have a look. I did long somewhere in here. This candle right here, when we fail to close below this low right here, I know the price will want to draw to that high right there. Does that make sense? That's the most simplest daily bias that one could ever have. Wicks below low indicate higher pricing. Closes below lows indicate lower pricing. Closes above highs indicate higher pricing, and wicks above highs indicate lower pricing. It's what we call a concept of willingness to go higher or lower. So if you're looking for a daily bias, then this is what I use on different time frames, right? And again, you get delayed delivery regarding those. So when this candle failed to close here, this candle failed to close here, you can see that we drew to this previous day's high here, and this one would also be on the cards right there. So this is where my DOLs would come from. If I entered around here, anywhere inside here, rejection block, OB range, whatever it is, I'd be targeting here, right? Besides using any standard deviation tools, those would just be for extra confluence. Right, diverted a bit there. So these are my preferred levels on the open, high, low, close, which is the daily and occasionally the weekly, with the liquidity pools added on. And the whole idea is that, for me personally, is the more levels we can stack, the better the draw would become. So I could stack, for example, let's look at here, right? We have a daily distribution level and a weekly manipulation level. I could do something like this at the beginning of this day, right there. This is now an area of interest to me. Does that make sense? It's the same thing above here, a daily manipulation and a daily distribution level. This is an area of interest to me. So I could play from these lows to these highs, or back to the daily and weekly open right there. Following? Idea of stacking stat map levels. Right, but for me personally, it's fine trading if you have an idea of trading or intraday trading daily levels, right? You could go down to 4 hours, 6 hour, 12, whatever time frame your heart desires basically, and use those. But me personally as a trader, I use ranges. I'm always in seek of or looking for a range that has come before current price action to determine where we are and where we need to go, right? If that range houses liquidity on either side, I'm looking for range low to be taken, get bullish, trade back to the range high. And for that is where I would use the session stat map. Now, my personal session stat map levels right here, I'm not sure, let's change this up here, right? Because these are different levels. I use midnight to 6 a.m. all UTC -5. I use 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. and we can add one here, 12 p.m. to 1800. 6 hour levels is what I'm interested in, and I'll let you guys in on a bit of a secret why I use those levels. When does the indicator start drawing levels for the day? Immediately on the open. On the open, it draws all the levels out immediately. And then the final level I would use is 8:30 to 11, right? You could use 8:30 to 13:30. I've also seen 9:30 open to 16:15 or 16:30. Cold Brew uses something similar to that. This particular level over and above these other 6 hour levels. 10 a.m. to 14. Look, Alexos, like you mentioned, most of the ranges are going to be personal to each and every one of you in a certain way or a different way. I'm not saying use my ranges. You could have found the golden goose of ranges in your own way, and those ranges work for you. Go for it, right? If it works for you, go for it. All we're trying to do is try to get people's experiences or minds broadened as to what else the session stat map can do. So the 8:30 to 11 is just for me to have some sort of expectation at the New York Open. So when we start to pull all of these into here, you can see the 6 hour levels, the open at and we'll just put this back on right here. Right, it can get a bit messy, just bear in mind. Here's the open at midnight, right here. This one is saying that the manipulation level here and the distribution level is here. There's a manipulation above price and a distribution level above price, right here. So you can see that from the open, we went higher, we went lower, we traded back up to the manipulation level. Putting bodies above a manipulation level will generally seek the distribution level above it. Putting bodies below the manipulation level should generally seek the distribution level below it, right? So all I need now is, if I'm bearish on this day, I have hit, and this is pretty early, right? London. I've come into a distribution level. I've had a change in the state of delivery here, and order block confirmation. Whatever the entry model is, right there. I'm interested in entering here and trading either back to the open, or you can see down here the distribution level below. So in this day we had a range where we would have managed to possibly get 75 points above and 75 points below, right? At this level, again, delayed delivery because this now falls on the next period, but the level still gets hit. So this is why I mentioned delayed delivery or keeping these levels onto your charts, because that's just how they work. New level opens up here, 6 a.m. We have a manipulation level. So we have an open, one-sided run to the downside, right? And the distribution level is actually all the way down here. What's up, Gavin? So we have the 6 a.m. open and one-sided run down, right? And I'm going to get to a key point on how we treat these opens, because the open itself is a level. Just bear that in mind. The open itself is a level, and it should be sensitive to any and all price action. So if I have these in mind, then if I were to, or were thinking about entering any position, they would have to form at these levels, because that is where manipulation or distribution occurs at some form of liquidity to the left. It could be an order block range, it could be a low, whatever it is, just look to the left, you'd find something. Once that something is taken, we can see MSS here by closing through this FEG, price runs up. This was actually CPI data. Where does it run back up to? OB range at the top, also daily, previous 6-hour distribution level, no bodies above. Following so far? We have a 6 a.m. open here. We run one-sided below it. Price comes back to the open. And I'm going to explain why it would tend to do that. Next open we should have is 8:30, right? 8:30 open. Again, manipulation level on the 8:30 open is here. Distribution level on the open, let's see if we can find it, is all the way up here. So now we have confluence. I'm just going to take away this OB range. We have confluence at this 8:30 open. I have a manipulation level above here and a distribution level above here, which is also stacked with a previous distribution level and a previous manipulation level. So I have 3 levels here: a 6 a.m. distribution level, I have the previous 6 a.m. distribution level, and I have this probably, let me have a look at what this is. This is this is the 6 a.m. manipulation level. I have all of these levels stacked up here with the 8:30 a.m. manipulation level up there, right? So can you see how this becomes the zone? Just like that, we would do the same thing at the bottom here. Open down here, manipulation and distribution below there. Those become stacked levels based on the session stat map, not only on the open high low close stat map. Those become stacked levels below and above current price. Okay, you can see here again, just like the 6 a.m. here, it opens and runs one-sided. Yeah, the accuracy is crazy, right? That's why I said it's the best trading tool out there, no cap, right? All legit. 8:30 opens, one-sided delivery to manipulation and distribution level. Then we would have the next level in mind for me. So while these are in play, the next level in mind for me would be 12 p.m. There we go. Calculation look back. Let's have a look here, right? Minus 60 at the moment. Minus 60. I don't play around too much. I mean, again, it's a personal thing. You can play around and find out what works for you, what works best, and take it from there. Then we have the next session stat map level that I use, based all on 6-hour candles. It's the 12 p.m. candle right here. Price opens up, one-sided. We come back to the open, and then we start to move. Where are we moving to? Most likely, you can see we have a daily distribution level at this open, and we just failed to tag the manipulation level below. We have a manipulation level above and a distribution level above, and the open and weekly open here. So you have all of these levels which can then act as shelves on the way, or take profit levels for your trading if you are not using standard deviation projections like this, right? 2 standard deviation projections almost to the tick. Right, so those are all of my times based on 6-hour candles, based on 8:30 to 11, just for a range around the open, so I can get an idea of where this is likely to go to or why it should go to a certain place. All in order? And what I can tell you about the 6-hour levels that I use is that there's a tendency, and I won't go into detail because this is not public information, that it's all stuff based in my personal group, that there's a tendency, and we have the stats to back it up, that when a 6 a.m. candle is bearish, right? So if the 6-hour closes bearish, there's about a 52% chance that the 12 p.m. candle will take its low and most likely reverse. What does that do for you lower time frame? It means you know that this level is most likely going to get run, and then a reversal should occur. And the better stat would be that a 6-hour, you can see in this 6 a.m. candle was bearish. It didn't get run down here. Not on news days, RA, or all days, right? The 6 a.m. candle was bearish, but it didn't get run here. What's more important to me is a bullish 6 a.m. candle. A bullish 6 a.m. candle, when you find one, let's get a bullish 6 a.m. candle right here. There's a bullish 6 a.m. candle. There's roughly a 65% probability, based on statistics that I've run, that the high of a 6 a.m. bullish candle will get run. What you do with that information is totally up to you, whether you expect reversals to occur above or below these levels, or continuation higher, right? These are just some of the reasons why I use the 6 a.m. Candles. Now you know, based on that, why I would use a 6 a.m. or the 6 a.m. ranges on the lower time frame to get an idea of where the bearish or bullish 6 a.m. candles are headed to. All in order? Haven't lost anyone so far. Any questions? I know it may seem a bit boring, but just bear with me, because we're on to the final. Yeah, the entry is going to be on 5 minute or less of a time frame, correct? And again, those entry models are all dependent on you, or what you are used to or use. Everyone following so far? Yes, no? Are we good to go? To the final step of why these levels, especially the open, gets traded to. And this is the concept that was taught to me by the currency merchant. He hasn't expanded. I'm not going to expand totally or go too much into it, because it's not my concept to teach, right? So again, do with this information that I'm about to give you what you will or what you must. The idea is basically this. We have the start of a delivery, aka the open of your open, high, low, close stat map. This could be a daily level. Let's call it a daily level, right? Daily open. Let's call it a daily open. You could treat this the same way as any of these session ranges that I've just given you. Following? And you would find there's a tendency of price to do certain things. Peter, it's purely based on the 6-hour candles that I just told you about. Nothing more, nothing less than that. You could, of course, you could use a 4-hour range. I'm not saying don't. Probably get some good results on a 4-hour or 8-hour as well. Right, back to this. Say this is your daily open, which is, or a session stat map open, right? Session or open, high, low, close, any open. And what did I say repeatedly here? We have price open and run one-sided. Okay? Price opens and runs one-sided. What this actually is from here to here is IMBALANCE. Price is imbalanced. What does it need to do to get balanced? It needs to create an equal number of down candles back to the open to balance it out, right? Now we balanced it. And then you would find, let's do this, then you would find that the opposite is true or occurs as well. Price starts to run one-sided below. So that then creates imbalance below the open. What does price have to do? If you guessed it, it has to trade back to there to create an efficiently traded range or a balanced price range. Does that make sense? This is something that he calls a loop. It is a closed loop. The loop begins at the open. The delivery occurs. It rebalances, imbalance, rebalance. That is the closed or complete loop. So when you see any open, like this one right here, what happens? We open, we run one-sided. What do we do then? We put bodies. This is not let's zoom in here, but so we can see what's going on here. Make this a bit thicker. There's the open, runs one-sided. We need to put bodies back at this open. This or these or this piece of price action is not a body. So what happens? There's the body right here. This piece of price action from here to here or here to here is now balanced. What does it do afterward? It starts to run one-sided below it. See that? What does it need to do afterward? Put bodies back at the opening. This is the closed sequence. You could go back and look at any piece of price action like here, runs one-sided, comes back, runs one-sided, comes back. Are you following how the open of any open, high, low, close or session stat map level is key? Yes, no? Following, not following? Totally useless piece of information that I've just provided. So what you would then find is when a body gets put back at the level right here, This balances the entire range. The very first up or down candle that prints, the very first up or down candle that prints, if it gets a CSD, like so, we would sell it and seek lower pricing. The very first up candle that prints, once we can get convincing CSD above it, we would buy that candle to seek higher pricing. No, the balance, well, depending on the Statmap level, Eduardo, that you're using. If you're using a daily, let's look at the daily, let's just look at a daily Statmap, and I'm going to switch off the 1 week. Right. What happened to your daily open here? We opened up here. We ran all one-sided up here. We come back. You could say that it went below here and then came up here and then went back below there. Try and think of this in terms of regular trading hours as well, right? All I'm interested in is we open and run one-sided. We come back. We go below it one-sided. We come back. We print the candle. It makes all of this a balanced price range. And you know, or if you don't know, what happens in a balanced price range. So it doesn't have to take days. Was that Philip? Eduardo. Doesn't have to take days. When price is efficient or efficiently traded or a balanced price range, right? It would mean that we had some kind of opening, up and down candles printed, balanced, right? It would mean if we had broken out to one side of a balanced price range, BPRs seek 50%. This is at most what you would look for, 50% before falling over. And the same goes for the upside. If we had broken up to the upside, 50% higher pricing. You guys have any more questions? This was just to show you what levels I use and how I use these levels. And to most of you, just having a manipulation or distribution level from a stat map or open, high, low, close seems sufficient, right? I'm here to tell you the open is just as good. And that's it. A neat little 36 minutes so far. A neat little deep dive into what Statmap can do. For some of you, this may not be mind-blowing or exciting. Some of you may use better techniques or better levels or better ranges. All good and well. All good and well. To each his own. All I'm saying is that each and every one of you should be using this for confluence. It's the greatest confluence based not on the whims and fancies of 2 degrees and Joshuu. No, it's actual statistics based on daily candles, those range of those candles or those times. There are some instances where we get distribution to distribution. Yeah, it happens on crazy days like that. Generally, what we would look for is open to manipulation to distribution if we're bearish, or open to manipulation to distribution if we're bullish. But there are other times where you get open to distribution, crazy. And there are other times where if you go back and test these levels get completely run, right? High impact days or high running days, completely run. Yeah, that's the plan, Sergio. Get more YouTube lives going for Statmap and get more lives inside 2 degrees as well. Apart from whatever I'm doing in my my own Discord. Yeah, good question, Niels. What are the timestamps? So for someone new, these timestamps or these vertical lines would be totally crazy, right? And what they basically are, what they basically are is the expected time that these levels should get hit by. Here it's slightly off. You can see we're almost at the open at this time. So these are the levels or the times that these levels should get hit. Yeah, it looks accurate for reversals, of course. It's based on statistics. It's not random times just thrown in there. It's literal, actual statistics. Lenny, what do you mean call those levels in price? I can tell you from open if I'm bearish, I look for at least manipulation. If I put bodies below manipulation, I'd look for distribution at or around that time. Whichever comes first. It may come together. One may come before the other. It may come after. So what do you mean call those levels in price? Any other questions you guys have? I hope I haven't wasted anyone's time. And for those that are interested in Statmap, I hope you'll make a, I think the link should be in the details or description here. You could find them, DM me, find them. There is a discount code at the bottom right for 20% off for life, not just 1 month or the first month or the first payment. And it is not exclusive to the Statmap. It's all 2 degrees indicators. So yeah, Niels, so that's how I felt before Statmap came out, before I actually had access to Statmap, because Joshuu was constantly posting these levels every day, and these levels are just hitting like crazy accuracy, manipulation and distribution levels. And I'm like, hold on, there's something, this is like a missing piece in my own trading. If I can use these with, like I said, standard deviations, foot projections, and a couple of other things, yeah, winner. Mike, generally Saba will tell you because he's in my group. I'm based in South Africa, so I'm up in London. So my day starts in London, and my plans start in when I wake up. So depending on what price does, I would be looking for certain things to occur. I would have obviously a higher time frame weekly objective or plan, and then the other stuff. Just give me a sec. Let's just put this over to that side and try to get some stuff out. Right, so if you guys want to have an idea, these are the sort of ideas I have at the start of a day. Just expectations on what I think price is going to do in the week or the day, and then as it goes, adjust and carry on. So again, you'll notice that these levels, I'm just going to do this really quickly. These are liquidity pools in blue right here. Let's zoom in there. The liquidity pools are in blue. So the Statmap is actually telling you where the liquidity is. And manipulations and distributions occur in liquidity pools. A liquidity pool is not necessarily a high or low. It's just a pool of liquidity. It could be a high or low, coincidentally. It could just be an order block or a pool where orders are lying. I don't tailor any settings. And then you would see here, as price plays out, watch the blue level as they get tapped. It becomes red. It's telling you that the liquidity has now been raided. So you are not personally looking for setups in the middle of nowhere. No, I'm not looking for a setup between an M and a D if no liquidity has been tagged. If they do tag liquidity of the liquidity pool, I'd be interested in that level. But putting bodies below M, I'm looking for D. I hope that doesn't sound too rude. Looking for D. I don't tailor any settings. Lenny, the Statmap levels are all static. They don't vary at all. The daily, especially the daily. The daily levels will be the exact same on all time frames. The levels don't vary if one gets hit opposed to another or doesn't get hit. Can the M&D levels be adjusted to show 3-month M&D levels for a quarterly view, or the maximum view is just monthly? No, of course. I'm glad you asked. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Is Josh or 2 degrees still here, or Joshuu? Let's have a look. Here's your time frame. Here's a 3-month stat map coming up right now. Let's go on to a 4-hourly. And here is your 3-month stat map opening on the 1st of January. What happens? Like I said, 1st of January is here, runs one-sided. We come and balance it up here, right here. We CSD a down candle, we run up. It makes this entire piece of price action from down here to up here balanced. So what would price most likely want to draw to? 50%. Yeah, of course it works on crypto. It works on anything. It works on anything. It works on anything. Now, obviously with the session stat map, you can get crazy, right? And I'm going to show you, any of you familiar with Prism from TCM? The one with the, gives you all of those stats on whether high or low gets taken, what percentage, all that kind of thing. Any of you familiar with it? I used it at one point, right? And what I actually did was, I don't have access to it anymore. I've unsubscribed, but what I did was I added 2 session stat map levels to that, right? And basically what that did for me was he had these ranges that started at certain times to certain times, right? Like this was a 7 p.m. to midnight, right? 7 p.m. to midnight, what is the expected range? If this was the range from 7 p.m. to midnight, this was the range right here, right? His indicator then spits out all of these levels on whether what percentage the high will get traded to. After we take the high, what percentage will we trade back to 50%? What percentage will the low get taken? And what percentage will we trade back to equilibrium? Those kind of stats, right? But what I did was and this range was forming as time formed, right? As time formed. What I did was took the ranges or the times of those ranges and input them into Statmap. So I would have an idea of how large this range can possibly get. You can see down here, if we look here, here's the next range, there's the open. I know that the bottom of this range is most likely going to be at a D level. Lo and behold, it's around the D level, and the high of the range is going to be at the D level. Lo and behold, the high of that range formed at the D level. So, like I said, you can do insanely crazy things. There is no limit to your imagination on what this can do or on how it can do it. Everything in order? All good? You guys have any more questions before we round things up? I think we've got 10 minutes before we are exactly almost an hour. I hope that, again, I haven't wasted any of your time. I'm thankful for those that took their time off to come and hear me ramble on about statistics and nerdy things and trading. And I hope more of those who are already subscribed to Statmap get more benefit out of it, and those that were on the fence about Statmap now actually have their mind made up. Again, if there's any questions you guys have, tag me in the 2 Degrees Discord, tag me on Twitter, tag me on Discord, my own Discord, a DM, and I believe at some point that Joshuu will create or is creating his own Statmap Discord community. So I'm in there, again, with all of the other guys that use Statmap, promote Statmap, have been using Statmap like myself for a while, all experienced guys. Right. With that being said, I wish you guys a happy trading day further, a happy trading week, and a happy trading month and a year. Hit me up anytime you guys need any more information. And I did say I'll be giving away maybe 4x1 month subscriptions to Statmap, and we'll get that running on Twitter. We'll get that running on Twitter just to get the awareness out there. And that actually comes from my personal pocket. So I'll be paying for those subscriptions for 1 month for 4 people. Pleasure, Sergio. Niels, you can't predict what can happen, right? You can predict where it can happen from. You can't predict what can happen. That makes sense. We are only provided with the information that is to the left of current price. This is where we play. All of these levels, for me personally, my flash OB range inside here, any failure swings inside here, any rejection block ideas, you can have all of these ideas like this, and you can then utilize them going forward. My personal idea on NAS in particular is that we most likely come down and tag 50% of this order block range, which is unmitigated, and or this rejection block right there. That's why I was short up here, and I'm looking for price to come back down there. Whether it comes back today or tomorrow, that all depends on the rejection block idea that forms right here. You can see we're forming a 3-bar swing low. We could open up, take the previous day's low. Why? Again, it failed so far to close above this high. I could reasonably expect that its low should get tagged, and if its low should get tagged and I am bullish, what does that mean? Buy, 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 buy. Why? We have this level right there that we expect to draw as the lowest hanging fruit objective. Add in the Statmap levels tomorrow or today and take it from there. Right. I think we're almost an hour now. And again, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to hit me up. And also, if you guys can share the stream, that would be helpful not only for me, but for the rest of the people looking or unaware of Statmap. And we'll run that competition on Twitter, like I said, the giveaway. And until next time, hopefully we can get another session going, which is or isn't about Statmap, right? But my day revolves around Statmap levels. Okay. Again, there's a stream delay, so if all's good, can I get some yeses in the chat, and I will end the stream. Again, thank you for your time. Appreciate you all. Thanks, Buster. Thanks, Eduardo. Active guys, Vega, Sergio, Saba, always, RA. Nils, thanks. This will be available automatically by YouTube as soon as I'm done. As soon as I click end stream, this should be available. I'll make it a public premiere. Again, thanks for flying Poison Airlines, and I hope to see you all soon. Cheers.